Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received. The translation reads like this. Hello, Brother Nanshi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? My brother, I am a 31-year-old woman. Currently, I am staying here in Francistown, Botswana. When I came here, Brother Nanshi, I can say that life indeed was really great. But when the Shona said that people from the same village are supposed to marry each other, I think that the elderly people, they knew that once you get married to someone who comes from an area that is very far from the area where you grew up, it is quite challenging. And I want to agree with that proverb, because when I got married to this man, I never knew his background, and it is quite important for you to know your partner's background before you get married to them, because in the end you are going to suffer. Currently, I am suffering because of all the spiritual attacks that I receive on a daily basis, or I can say on a nightly basis. Whenever I see the sun going down, then I know that my troubles would have started. For me to say that I had a good night sleep, what I do is that I take some salt, like the coarse salt, then I take a piece of tissue, then I wrap that coarse salt on that small piece of tissue, and I insert it into my panty just close to my private parts. If I do not do that, then the tokoloshis will come throughout the night. These tokoloshis, they will be abusing me. And what pains me the most is that I have seen, and indeed the prophets have told me everything that I have seen. But as for my husband, he claims that he is a Christian, as well as my mother-in-law also says that they can never visit a white garment prophet because they are Christians. Yet my mother-in-law, she is the one who is bewitching me. My brother, I came here to Botswana and I met my boyfriend here in Botswana, who later became my husband. At that time, I was really desperate. I came here and I could not get a job. I was staying with my friend. You know, when you start staying with your friend, at first, life can be good, but with time, things will start to change. That is exactly what happened. My friend, she kept on complaining because she could not have any time with her boyfriend. And this guy, they could not go to that guy's house because the guy was a married man anyway. So he was the one who would come at my friend's house for a sleepover. I saw that I was disturbing their peace. And it was only after this other night when they came and they started to make love whilst I was sleeping on that same bed. It was quite terrible, Brother Nashi. I was really desperate. So there was this other man. This man, he kept on telling me that he loved me a lot. And just before lockdowns, when my friend asked me what was my plan like, because he wanted to be with her boyfriend, the guy who was married throughout the lockdowns. So the guy didn't want to be with his wife. He said that he was going to pack his clothes and create some drama between him and his wife so that he can just walk out. Then my friend said, we cannot be together for this lockdown, just in case. My friend then said that you need to make a plan because I want to spend some time with my boyfriend. That was when I went and I just said to that guy, you said you love me. And he said yes, but I was scared. I was really scared because the rumors that were going around was that this guy, he had been married 5 times, and all of these women, when they broke up with this guy, none of them had been able to conceive. And when I asked him what was really going on, why he had been married 5 times in Botswana, and he had also been married when he was still back home in Zim, I wanted to know if it was him who had a problem of not being able to conceive, to make a woman to fall pregnant. This guy then said the problem with these women here in Botswana is that they love money. They just love money. So whenever I would try to date these local women, they will always demand money. At first I would give them, but with time, then they will refuse and when I will refuse to give them money, then they will start cheating on me. It was fair enough because this guy, he had said that he now wanted to date a woman who was from Zim because he was tired of dating women that were from Botswana. I then moved in with him, but this was out of desperation. From the moment that I fell pregnant, Brother Nashi, that was when the dreams started. When the dreams started, what I'll see is that there was this other woman who would be wearing a duke. It was always a white duke, and she was wearing those garments that they wear at the Red Garment Church. This woman, at first, I would see her standing at the window, just looking at me as I would be sleeping. Then, as the pregnancy was progressing, one night I heard a woman that was calling out my name, and then I answered. When I said "Ma," that was when I saw that this woman, it was like I had given her an access code to the house because she was failing to get into that room where I was sleeping with my husband. When she came into that bedroom that we were sleeping in, this was the same woman that my boyfriend had been showing me on his phone, telling me that the woman on the picture, it is my mother. That was the same woman that I saw. This woman, she was truly evil because the moment that she walked into the bedroom, she then started beating me up. And after she had beaten me up, I saw another creature that came out of her back as if she was cloning herself. These creatures, they kept on coming out of her back until they were 6 and she was the 7th. Then these creatures, they came and they were holding me down. And indeed, I then saw that this is what happens to you when you have sleep paralysis. These creatures, when they will be holding you down, trying to suffocate you, this is what these creatures were doing. That was when I felt this terrible pain. I lifted my head and I saw that my mother-in-law, she actually had this other finger that looked more like a knife. The nail on that finger, it was quite long. She then started operating on me. It was painful at the same time. The pain was not unbearable. It was like someone was just pinching me. That was the type of a pain that I was feeling. Then I saw that she started to open up my womb. When she opened up my womb, Brother Nashi, that was when she started cutting up the limbs of that fetus of the baby that I was carrying. This thing, it kept on happening each and every night. This woman, she would come and she would look at the baby that I was carrying. Then she would cut up the limbs until I had a miscarriage at 6 months. My brother, when I had this miscarriage at 6 months, even though I never went to the hospital because I was afraid that once you go to the hospital, they will say that you have COVID, and immediately they will say that you do not have to go back home. So I was really scared. I didn't go to the hospital. I just cleaned myself up. But my brother, when I looked at that bucket that I was sitting on, when I felt that there was something that was coming out, it was only a few drops of blood, like when your periods have started. Nothing ever came out of my womb. Is it even possible for a woman that is 6 months pregnant, when she has a miscarriage, nothing comes out? When I started touching my womb, it was no longer that stiff to show that there was a baby that was growing inside. I had a flat tummy all of a sudden. My waters, they never broke. What I just saw were just a few droplets of blood. This really shocked me. I spoke with my mom, who was back home. My mom then took the risk. She went to this other prophet. When she went to that prophet, Brother Nashi, that was when my mom gave me the numbers of that prophet. This prophet then told me that what I was supposed to do is that I had to go outside. And when I had gone outside, I had to point into the direction of where Zim was at. So I went and I just guessed where the direction of Zim is from here in Botswana, and I started pointing as I was calling out the names of the angels that were going to guide me. And after that, I then picked up some soil. The first soil that I picked was the soil that was close to my right leg, then the other soil that was close to my left leg. Then I picked the soil where my shadow was at, and after that I placed it in water. Then I picked 3 more stones. One of the stone, I threw it towards the direction where the sun rises. Then the other stone, I threw it where I was standing. Then the last stone, I threw it towards the direction where the sun sets. And I was telling the evil spirits to go and rest in that direction where the sun always set. Then I returned back indoors and I started bathing myself using the soil. And late at night, the prophet told me to repeat these prayers and the last stone, instead of throwing it in the direction of where the sun sets, I had to take it and I had to place it underneath my pillow. I did it, Brother Nashi, for 3 good days. And after I did this, I kept on having those dreams. Now, my mother-in-law, she was unable to enter into that room where I was sleeping with her son, Brother Nashi. I fell pregnant immediately after using those prayers. I then fell pregnant and I had my baby. My baby is growing because at that time when I gave birth, it was when COVID was really hitting really hard. So I call him a COVID baby. But the problem that I am facing is that at night when this thing happens, I will know that I am not going to have any rest at all. My son, he has a habit of screaming at night. You can be with him just watching TV or just eating, then you'll start looking at the ceiling as if he is watching someone that is moving, someone or a creature that will be moving on the ceiling. My son's eyes will be following this imaginary creature, as that creature will be going down the walls, walking towards him. That is when you will run towards the place where I will be, or his father. Then you will try to hide behind me or behind his father. Then the screaming will start. When the screaming has started, Brother Nashi, you will do this throughout the night. We have tried using some salt. We have tried using some powdered tobacco. But my husband, he has since banned me. He said that he does not believe in the ancestors, so he just believes in the Bible. But my brother, what pains me the most is that as for my mother-in-law there in Zim, she is someone who is respected at the church where she goes to, in that Pentecostal church, yet she is the one who is bewitching her daughter-in-law as well as bewitching her own grandson. So I am looking for anyone who can assist me. I know that out there are people who are quick to judge, but I am the one who is living through this nightmare. I want this nightmare to end. I am looking for a powerful traditional healer who can assist me as quickly as possible. Oh, dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by our dear sister, and that was the translation of that message. Yo.